What's up?
Tristan Gross, what's going on?
What up, man?
I wish I had a backdrop like that. That's impressive.
Thank you.
So, for the viewers that are watching, I'm joined by 2023 Calvary Christian guard Tristan Gross, fresh off a very sound, impressive freshman season. Kind of
Thank you.
talk about your freshman year. I know you had an awesome start, 28 points right out of the gates against Central Florida Christian. What was that like for you to just start so hot for for your freshman year?
Yeah, it was a really cool experience, So, but one thing for me, like when that happened, I had to make sure that I didn't get like too big of a head. I had to stay humble because if I start out like that, I might get mental throughout the season. So then, like, I get off my game, whatever. But I have to just stay level-headed and keep going. But it was really cool, like, for me to come out like that. It was a big
Yeah,
confidence booster.
yeah, it was impressive. I'm sure Central Florida Christian wasn't ready for you.
Yeah,
And then, you had a really nice stretch. Obviously, 14.9 points per game for a freshman is impressive anywhere, but you had a really awesome stretch from December 7th to December 20th where you had 4 or 5 games of 20 or more points, and you had that 34-point game against Countryside. Just kind of talk about, that 5-game stretch for you where you were just kind of red hot and hard to stop.
yeah. First, I want to like talk about my teammates about that because I couldn't have done any of that with my teammates. My teammates like accepted my role. They knew like what I had to do on the court. They facilitated the ball to me, and I just made the shots that were like the open shots that I got.
And talk about your growth spurt, because obviously I know in the fall you're what, 6'3", 6'4" now?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, so when I first met you, obviously it was years ago, and we're coming up, but you grew. How many inches did you grow in like the last year, you'd say?
When I was in eighth grade, I was about 5'8". So I grew from 5'8" to 6'4" just within the last year.
That's crazy. Where do you get your height from? I mean, your parents aren't small, but they're
Yeah.
not like dramatically tall. Like where do you think you get your height from?
I'll probably say my mom's pretty tall for a girl. She's about 5'7", 5'8", and my grandpa was pretty tall. He was like 6'2", 6'3". So I think it comes really from my dad's side of the family.
Yeah. And talk about your family dynamic. Obviously, your older brother is now in college, but he played, and was impressive at Calvary for a few years. Talk about, just being the younger brother and kind of leaning on him for advice, heading into your varsity year.
Yeah, so he like for with Devin, he was a knockdown shooter. I had never seen a kid shoot as good as him. So when I was growing up, I would take the things that I saw him do really well, and I would work with him on shooting. But I also knew that I wanted to be more than a shooter, so I would take the stuff from his game and take that, and then keep working on other things and build off of that. So I wasn't just a shooter.
Yeah, and talk about, just the dynamic of the coaching staff, because I know, obviously Kev Burley is a brilliant coach, and then you got AJ Williams, who you've trained with, for a long, long time with the Basketball Warehouse.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the dynamic of the coaching staff, because you have Kev, and then you got AJ to lean on, and the rest of those guys.
Yes, sir. So it was actually a really awesome dynamic because I would have Coach Burley he would be really hard on us and keep us in check and stuff. But then we would also have AJ at the end of the bench to go to look for like we would look at him for support. After because Coach Burley, he believes in all of us and he trusts us 100%. But sometimes he gets on us to hold us accountable. But then we also have AJ to go to keep us level headed and keep us confident while we're in the game.
Yeah, and then obviously after this season, you lose Josh Berenbaum, who I'm sure
Right.
you learned a ton from this year.
Yeah.
What's it going to be like, kind of the passing of the torch? You guys are going to be young, but what is it going to be like to be that leader as a sophomore for Calvary?
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I've been working a lot to step up and take that torch from Josh. He led our team really great last year, and I have big shoes to fill. I have goals that I want to accomplish, not just personal, but as a team. And we only lost one guy, so our chemistry is still gonna be there, and we need to build off of what we had last year and keep running with it.
And what are you doing in this downtime? Obviously, it's a strange time for everybody. There's no basketball, but what are you doing in your downtime to, improve your strength, improve your game, and make sure everything's going the right way?
Yeah, so I've been in the gym every day, Sunday through Saturday, or Sunday through Sunday, sorry. And I'll lift Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm in the gym with Deontay from Eastlake, Jordan from Eastlake, and Sky. And they're all seniors. They're going to college next year, so it's really good for me. They push me really hard, and I feel like I'm getting a lot better.
Is it weird for you to have, a lot of downtime? Obviously, I would assume school is through online right now,
Mm-hmm.
but is it weird to just have this, like, you know, you're almost like a college kid at this point. You just have like all this downtime. You can play basketball,
Yes,
but
sir.
obviously you have to do your classes. Is it a weird, change for you?
It was a little bit weird for like the first week, but I feel like I'm adjusting pretty well because after I finish school, I pretty much go to the gym, come back, get my homework done, and repeat. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like the schedule.
I'm sure you do. And talk about your top strengths, because obviously everyone knows you as a shooter, a knockdown shooter, and you
Right.
shot 42% from three, which is super impressive as a
Yes.
freshman. But talk about some of your other strengths that you really hang your hat on.
Yeah, so I've been taught to play like off what the defense gives me. So if the defense is backing off of me, of course I'm gonna shoot that three because that's my strong shoot. But if they're pressing up on me, I can definitely go past them, shoot the floater, or I can get all the way to the rim, get an N1, convert, things like that.
What are some things that you're working on right now, the hardest in the gym, day by day to get better at?
Of course, I'm working on my shot and my skill and stuff, but I've been working on a lot of defensive things, trying to get my footwork faster. I've been playing a lot of ones with them, trying and work on my defense, and of course, work on my skills and get my game and stuff like that.
And I know you've only been in high school for a year, but what would you say maybe is one of your favorite memories playing with Calvary? Moments, whether it's a practice or a game, for you.
Yeah, I would probably say one of my favorite memories is winning districts with my team this year. That was really cool for us because last year the team we lost in the first round of districts. We didn't even make it. So for us to win districts this year, that was pretty cool for us as a team.
Yeah, and talk about the differences for you between AAU and high school. I know obviously again like there's no AAU, and this would have been a big summer since you're just improving and getting better. But obviously you play for each one teach one, really established program in Florida and around the country.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
about the differences for you for between AAU and high school.
I would say some of the biggest differences for me, I can only assume I haven't had my first game in the circuit yet, but when you're in the circuit, you're playing against kids that from all around the country that are the best of the best. Like on those teams, like when they have tryouts, they pick the best people out of like that tryout. But I mean, I would say probably the speed of the game and like strength and all that. Because maybe in high school, like when you're playing against kids, you could be playing against a 19-year-old senior that is like more developed than you, more skilled. They've had years to play in the high school setting. And when you're playing in the circuit or whatever AAU team you play for, you're playing against kids your own age. So, yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, and again, you alluded to it, like you haven't played on the circuit yet, but your last summer, how do you think that really prepared you for this varsity life and to do what you did this season?
Yeah. So last year we were in a circuit called Made Hoops, and we would play against a lot of younger of the circuit, like a lot of younger teams of the circuit teams. So that was really good for us, or for me personally, because I would get to play against the best around the country, and that just helped me like develop my game a lot more and know what's out there. So I know what I need to work on.
Yeah. And in terms of a life lesson, again, I know you're only a freshman, you got plenty of things to learn still, but what is a life lesson so far that, sticks out in your mind that you kind of, have instilled in you?
hmm I would probably say the biggest thing for me is I've been working on trying to become comfortable being uncomfortable. So, like, if I'm playing against older kids, like I told you, I was training with Deontay and them, they beat me up and they beat me all the time. It's not really fun, but I know that's the stuff that's gonna help my game get to the next level and grow. And when I go play with kids my own age, it's gonna feel a lot easier because I'm not playing against kids that are that much stronger than me and things like that. And I'm used to getting beat up like that. So I think, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah. And in terms of some guys that watch growing up or still watch, who are some athletes, any sport that you really, admire?
Yeah, I really like watching Trey Young. I feel like me and him, we have similar builds, we have similar game styles, and not only just watching his NBA highlights, but I like to watch when he played on a circuit. when he was with Mocan. I like to watch how he would use his footwork because he was always the smallest player on the court. Really, there's always 6'7", 7 foots out there, and he always found a way to get buckets and facilitate to his teammates. So I just like to see how he used his game and all of his skills to facilitate to his team and still do his own thing.
Yeah. And then, you know, pregame wise, is there anything that you go through, shooting, stretching, music? What's Tristan Gross's pregame routine look like?
Yeah. So, hold on, sorry. So we have a shoot around as a team together. We have like a 45-minute shoot around before, and then I'll probably go home, take a quick like 30-minute nap, come back to school, put my headphones on, get ready, listen to music, get hype with my team. I like gotta get a good stretch in, and then I just go play.
In terms of your favorite meal or place to eat, what's that for you?
Uh, my favorite food is definitely steak. So, I mean, I don't really have a specific place that I think has the best steak, but steak in general is just the best food.
That'll
That's
definitely
it.
boost your strength, I would think,
Yeah.
and add some pounds to you.
Yes, sir.
And obviously, I know you and your family, especially your dad, you're really big on the shoe game. You
Mhm.
know, what is your plan for next season? How many different shoes do you plan on wearing?
That's the thing. I gotta talk to Coach Burley about that and our athletic director. So this year, we had a rule. So we can only wear the team colors. So white, black, navy, yeah, white, black, navy, gray. So I'm gonna try and push, and I'm gonna talk to Coach Burley about this. I just want to wear whatever shoes. Like right now, I have a pair of Paul Georges, and they're two different colors. So I'm trying to wear shoes like that next year.
That would be cool. That would definitely be
Yeah.
cool.
Yes, sir.
And for Tristan Gross, where do you see yourself? You know, in 5 years. Obviously, it's hard to predict, but you know,
Yeah.
what are your goals and admirations? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I just want to be on a team in college, a high level team, and I want to win. I want to be on a team that wants me, with coaches that want me and know my skill set. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it with that.
How much do you watch basketball when you're not playing basketball?
I try and study the game as much as possible. A
Who
lot.
are some guys? Yeah, who do you watch besides like Trey Young? Like you to go to YouTube or you just like watch games live and stuff?
Yeah, I do a little bit of both. So I like to watch Don Morant because, like I said, for a kid that his size, he can attack on a lot of people, a lot of his handles. I also like to watch Steph Curry. He's similar to Trey Young in like a sense because they both shoot like really good. And yeah, those are pretty much the guys I like to watch.
Well, I appreciate you hopping on and during this interesting time. I'd love for you to leave the viewers with some kind of words of wisdom and words of positivity with the situation that's going on.
Yeah. If I had to say something, I would probably just say stay strong, stay ready. Just try and get in as much work as you possibly can, even if you don't have a gym. Just do simple things like push ups, sit ups, go run outside, and spend some time with your family.
Well, I appreciate you, man, and stay safe and,
You
and,
say
and
too.
keep working hard. Hopefully, I get to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.